Foreigner in the Philippines. Well, I'm trying everything. I'm pulling out all of the stops here, trying to find somewhere where the light is reasonable in our little room. And what were we going to talk about? Well, the main emphasis at the moment in the coming week is the completion of the work on the church, or our church completion project, I suppose we're going to call it. And we've actually been in and we paid for some of the materials, and we are now kind of on a limb for the rest. So it's another one of those leap of faith jobs. A leap of faith would describe it, because we start the job knowing that we don't have enough, and then somehow with that leap of faith comes the way to complete the job. So we'll go over what the situation has been on the church so far. So what's been happening is that the church has been donated. The work on the church is that they've built the walls. They put the walls up, and then recently with a donation they've actually put up the roof. So there's a roof and walls, and that's pretty well how far. And I think that they've got some window frames there which are ready to be put in, and that was all donated by subscribers from the other channel, what's become known infamously for us as the other channel. So credit for them. Thanks for the help that you've given there. It is appreciated. No attempt is being done here on our church completion project to take away the credit for that. So big thanks if those subscribers who donated that cash are watching this. Credit to you, and thanks a lot. Now, that's taken probably somewhere between I don't know, 6 and 9 months to get that far. Now, in that 6 to 9 months, the difference in the way that Beth and I have been working along with our Superman team is that we have actually achieved so much more. And we have told you before how we work. We go around, we do a video, we tell the story, and then we put it out to whatever touches the heart of anybody who wants to be involved in that particular project. Now, I think this is the difference, is that when people can look at a project which is being proposed, this is what we're proposing, this is the wreck of a house, this is what we want to put up, and 7 days later, 6, sometimes 5, 6, 7 days, 10 days later, they're looking at a new house. Such is the dedication and the hard work of the Superman team, and Beth, who organizes everything, talks to the builder's merchant. Ambercon Hardware is where we get practically all of our materials, and we go there because they've been very kind to us in the past and have actually helped us in many ways, often donating bags of cement which we've been able to put well to use. So all of those people have done everything that is needed to build 15 houses. So now, not all of them were built from scratch, but they were all taken to finished. And so that might be the key difference in how we work. We say, this is what we're proposing to do, this is what we need, and then we leave that to the people who want to be involved in that particular kind of thing. Now, recently we said, someone said, what's on the boil right now, Terence? What are we looking at doing? And I mentioned a project, and he said, no thanks, Terence, because he wasn't interested in that kind of project. Well, that's the prerogative of someone who is giving money and wants to see a certain effect. Now, the little thing that we've just recently been able to do or about to do, we've now got the finance to do, is to buy a tiny nipa hut that a small family can move into right now. We'll do some repairs on it, and Hugo, who gifted that money to us, will see a video of that happening. So it's a case of, it's not enough to be doing right, you need to be seen to be doing right. And this is something of a controversial point for a lot of people, especially people who are strictly biblical in their beliefs, and they say you should do all of your good deeds anonymously. Well, if we did what we did anonymously, no one would know that we'd done it, and no one would know what our intention was when we put up another project. Now, what we've established is a work method with a workforce that is supermen. Now, some people might even argue about the idea of why do you call these jobs all these funny names like the Skeleton House? And well, the Skeleton House came because when we used to pass it, we saw a house that was the bare frames. So it was like a skeleton. You know, your skeleton is a bare frame, and then it's got flesh on it and internal organs, but it's a skeleton. Now, if you saw a person and they didn't have any of the flesh and the internal organs on them, you'd call it the skeleton. So we called it the Skeleton House. Did that attract anybody even more than if we'd said number 16 Jeffrey Street? I'm inclined to think it did. So, are we going to say the workforce? Oh yes, well, the workforce will be working on the house. No, we don't say that. When I saw how these guys work, I said, my God, you guys are supermen. There comes the phrase. So, they became the Supermen team. And people like that, because it's something to hang on to. We still get people talking about the Three Little Girls house. They know it's not three little girls, it's actually four little girls, but there's something emotive and catchy about the idea of three little girls. So that's the name that stuck. And some of the names attract other people or detract from other people's viewpoint, and we do what we do, and that's how we do it. So our plan now is to get the church finished 2 to 3 weeks. Let me go to the tyrant of the time frame, Beth. My warrior princess, I'm talking to her, she's over there right now. Can you tell me what your ruthless time scale will be on the church?
Sorry?
What do you think you want to see the church done in? How many days?
I give Pastor Timio for 6 days.
How many?
6 days.
6 days?
Yeah, because it's 5 people employed it.
Okay. See what I mean? I'm talking 3 weeks, and the dictator over there says 6 days.
Yeah, because we're also budgeting. You know, we just want to squish whatever the budget arrived.
There we
make
go.
it finish.
Now, I'll tell you how that worked, is that we had a gift from John of Nova Scotia. And when he heard on another video how we work and how we insist on paying people to work on their own church, on their own house. Well, according to John of Nova Scotia, that's in the Bible too. So always, depending on how you look at things, you'll find a way in the Bible to validate what you think. Well, that works for me, because I don't see how a man who has very little, who is living close to what people in the West would call the most unbelievable poverty, I don't see how he can be expected to turn down work in order to work on this church or on any project. So we pay the Supermen team. Right. Now we pay them. Now other people I've heard are paying 300, 350 a day. Now we are paying 500 pesos a day. That's what we have decided that we'll pay. And for that, the warrior princess has approached them and said, we want you to work from, what is it, 7 to 7, Beth?
Honey, editing. What, sorry?
Sorry, I'm interrupting Beth when she's editing. Are we paying 500 for 7 till 7?
No, we're paying 507. They start 7 to 5.
They're
but
working.
Their break between 12 to 1. Their break.
Okay, so not only do they get quite a bit above the normal scale.
In our rag houses building, in our houses building, we pay 600.
Right, we paid 600, but we're on a very tight budget here. We're out on a limb for most of the materials, and so Pastor Timio and the Supermen team have agreed to work for 500. As you may have been able to hear Beth say, when we did the rag houses, we actually paid 600, and they did that in 6 days. Now, the reason that the Supermen team...
But I will leave them 100 every day for snacks.
So they get 600.
For the, no, just 150 for the snack, for the 5 of them.
Okay, so we pay them 500, and they work from 7 until 5 with an hour break in the middle, and we donate 150 pesos a day for what the Filipino always calls snacks. That means that they have a short break where they have a coffee and a piece of bread, dry bread. That's what they have. Special, different kind of bread that they have in Filipino bakeries here. So that's what they do. Now, and because of that, we believe that we can set pretty tough time frames. Like Beth is now saying to them, we need to get this job done in 6 days. Now that means that they have to put a floor in, and they have to put the window frames in, and they have to knock down the wall that joins, establish the window frames so that the jalousie windows, which will match the previous windows that have been fixed, the existing windows, will be fixed as well. And so chances are that we're looking at an opening in, say, another 2 Sundays of that part of the church, which will be totally new, a completed project for which the community will benefit tremendously. So that's just explaining how we work, why we work that way, why do we think that that's the best way, why do we think that a man should be paid to work even when it benefits him as to what he is building. Well, I think that men have to put food on the table for their family, and as far as I'm concerned, you can suspend any judgment at all. Now, thank you to John of Nova Scotia, because he has stipulated, he liked that idea of paying workers, and he has pledged to give us another gift which will cover the wages if it goes into a second week or over budget on that. And as long he is quite happy, as long as the men first and foremost get paid so they can feed their families. So this has been a description, a job description, an MO description, method of operation as to how we do things and how we get things done. Myself, I don't do very much at all. In fact, most of the time they just prop me up in a corner. But this is a foreigner in the Philippines. We thank you for looking in. We thank you for your support. We thank you for your interest and for your patronage. Bye for now.